Hey, how's it going? Today I'm talking about the Finisher Framework, Part 3, Training.
This is Running to the Castle, a podcast for injury-prone RunDisney runners on a journey to running magical miles. Join me, Dr. Allie, as I share the secrets I've gathered as a runner, doctor of physical therapy, and coach. You'll learn the exact ways I get my clients to the castle strong without feeling broken or held together with KT tape as they cross the finish line.
This section of the Finisher Framework encompasses a lot. I call it training. It's the stuff you do to train your body to go the distance for the race you're signed up for. It includes the long run, speed workouts, which I have 4 types of speed workouts in Stronger, Faster, Finisher. It includes cross training, and then we can get even deeper going into easy, moderate, hard, and race paces. So I may talk about all of that today, but if it's getting too long, I'm going to further section these off into separate podcast episodes. Like I said before, training encompasses the things you're doing to build your cardiovascular endurance. This is how in shape your heart and your lungs are, essentially. You need your heart to be able to pump out sufficient blood and oxygen to your body, and you need your lungs to be able to keep up so that you can breathe while you're running. Training is part of the build part of the formula. If you're not sure what I mean by that, go back and listen to part 1, the whole overview of the Finisher Framework. This is where you can make a lot of progress, and you need to make some progress so you can achieve your goal. If your training isn't dialed in, even if you do all of the strength, all of the recovery, eat, hydrate perfectly, you can still get burnt out, lose motivation, and get injured. So today I'm going to go step by step on how to be successful with your training so you can cross that finish line ahead of the balloon ladies without feeling broken. Okay, so let's get a few definitions out of the way, because so many different runners and coaches, they name things the same, but they're different. They do it different. Just so you and I are clear on our definitions, here's what I call everything. The long run. I consider the long run to be the longest run of the week, typically. Sometimes at the beginning of a training season, it's technically not the longest run yet, but it's on average the longest run of the week, and it's the easy run. The goal of the long run is to build cardiovascular endurance, basically building time on your feet to get your body ready for the time and miles you'll be on your feet for race day. Speed workouts. Speed workouts are short workouts where the goal is to get faster. These are short and fast. I have 4 specific speed workouts in Stronger, Faster, Finisher. 30, 20, 10. In this type, you'll do 3 different paces. One pace for 30 seconds, the second pace for 20 seconds, the third pace for 10 seconds. And the latter 2 segments are progressively faster. Then you have a progression run. This is also a speed workout. In this type of workout, you go progressively faster over the course of your workout until you reach the peak, and then you reverse back to your starting pace. Tempo run. A tempo run is a speed workout. In this type of workout, you aim to run a specific pace, faster than easy pace, typically slower than race pace, though you could do a race pace challenge in this type of workout. Hills. A hill workout is also a speed workout. In this type of workout, you aim to sprint up a hill repeatedly over the course of the workout. Cross training. Cross training is a non-running activity that builds cardiovascular endurance. The goal of cross training is to train your heart and your lungs without putting all the stress and miles on your joints from running a lot. Cross training activities include walking, paced walking, swimming, elliptical, rower, cycling, spin class, ice skating, and other activities that make your heart beat faster and make you breathe heavy. Of note, I typically don't consider strength training cross training because the goal of strength training is to build or tone skeletal muscle. Okay, Now that we have some definitions covered, let's talk about how to actually use these different types of training to reach your goal. The first step is deciding what days you'll work out and what type of training you'll do that day. Look at your calendar. Choose a day you can consistently run your long run. At first, these long runs will be relatively short, but plan for a day that you can do your longest run, which is going to be 3.5 to 7 hours long. I recommend keeping the long run on the same day as much as possible. This gives your body plenty of time to recover from the long run before the next long run. Most runners choose a weekend day or a day that they don't work if they work. Okay, now choose which days you'll work on speed. I recommend 2 days. Then choose 2 days you'll do cross training. That leaves you with 5 workout days and 2 rest days. For slow, back of the pack, injury prone, or not really a runner kind of runners, I recommend no more than 5 workout days. Now that you have your workout days, you'll need to know what to actually run. And this depends on where you're at in your running journey. I've talked about that before, but if you're new here, the 5 phases of a running journey are build, training, taper, race, rest, and recovery. If you're in the build phase, I recommend starting from 0. Do the 0 to 5K training plan. If you're in training phase, I recommend downloading the free training plan for your specific race. You can find that on my website. Each race distance for my training plans start at a 5K for the long run. Even if you've run many races before, I recommend starting with a 5K. You'll notice in these training plans, the long run increases by very little each week. The exact amount it increases is by 10%. In my professional opinion, this is the best amount of increase to do for the long run each week, so you avoid getting burnt out, losing motivation, or getting hurt. I've had runners use my training plans and DM me on Instagram saying how they have no dread each week because they know they can do it, because they did practically the same amount the week before, or that it's such a slow increase that they barely noticed they did more. And finally, I've had somebody say they felt like they could run all day after the long run. You want your long run to be so easy and such a subtle increase that you barely think about it ahead of time. And I don't mean you don't think about it at all and you don't plan for it. What I mean is that runners get really worked up before the long run. They start worrying and panicking about all of it. How long is it going to take? How exhausted am I going to be? Am I going to feel good enough to go to the park with my kids later? When you run your long run at your easy pace and you increase the mileage so slowly your body barely even knows you're doing more, you have energy for the rest of the day. That reminds me, easy pace that I'm talking easy. Typically, this is about 2 minutes per mile slower than your race pace. I had a client who ran all of her long runs at 13 minutes per mile. She ran the Princess Half at just over 11 minutes per mile. I think it was 11:06. The slower, the better on your long run. Remember, you're training for longevity. You're training for time on your feet. The goal of this run is to get used to being on your feet for that amount of time. It's not about being able to go fast for that amount of time. You'll use speed workouts to work on getting faster. So let's talk about that next. The speed workouts are shorter than the long run generally. Now, in the beginning, when you're starting at a 5K during the training season, your speed workouts may actually be longer than your long run, and that's okay. It seems weird, but it's all a wash in the end. The goal of the speed workouts is to get faster. And in order to do that without burning out, without losing motivation, and without getting hurt, you need to do that in short workouts. It's not sustainable to run really far and really fast every run every week. 99% of the time, that ends up in not wanting to go out for a run either because you're burnt out or because you're hurt. And they all end up with a DNF on race day, or worse, a DNS where you can't even make it to the start line. I gave the examples of the 4 types of speed workouts I use in Stronger, Faster, Finisher, but my absolute favorite for runDisney runners is the 30-20-10 because it's perfect for runners using run-walk intervals. Because 30-20-10 has you go different paces for 30, 20, and 10 seconds. You can easily mimic your 30-30 intervals. Do 30 seconds of walking, then run 20 seconds, and then sprint 10 seconds. If you want me to go into more detail about the different speed workouts, if that's something you're interested in, send me a DM on Instagram, runDisneyDPT, and let me know what you're interested in hearing about with the speed workouts. So we have 1 long run, 2 speed workouts, and that leaves 2 cross-training workouts. Remember, cross-training is a way to improve your cardiovascular fitness without running. Many of my clients are either recovering from an injury or have a history of pain. So, really, they want to run these races, but can't tolerate running 4 or 5 days a week. And I totally get it. I personally only run 3 days a week, and I've successfully completed many half marathons in the past. You don't need to run more than 3 days a week most weeks. That's where cross training comes in. You can improve your stamina, your endurance, your heart's ability to pump out blood, and your lungs' ability to breathe with cross training. You've chosen 2 days of cross training. Now, what cross training did you choose? I like to alternate between paced walking and elliptical. Choose a cardiovascular activity you enjoy that you can get your heart pumping and breathing kind of heavy. Not super heavy, but equivalent to what you would do during the long run. And there you have it. Now you've created your training plan that works for you. The key with training is make your easy days easy so your hard days can be hard. One mistake I see many runners of all paces make is they run too fast too often. They're trying to make all of their runs their next best. They're getting a PR in distance and pace all at once. Leave the fast workouts to the short speed workout days and let your long run be easy peasy lemon squeezy. Take what you've learned in this episode and use it to adjust your training strategy for your runDisney race. The finisher framework isn't just a checklist. It's a smarter way to train so you finish strong, not broken. And if you want personalized guidance specific to your race, your injury history, your running background, and your goals, that's exactly what we do inside Stronger, Faster, Finisher. You'll get step-by-step instructions and a proven system to help you train smarter from start to finish. Join the waitlist today to be the first to know when it opens next. Next time on the podcast, I'm continuing the discussion of the finisher framework with part 4, rest and recovery. Stay tuned. Hey, can I ask a quick favor? If you're enjoying this podcast, would you take 20 seconds to leave a rating and review? Leaving a rating and a review helps other runners find this podcast because the platform you're listening to this on will start suggesting it to runners like you. All it takes is 20 seconds. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast. As always, thanks so much for listening. That's all for now. Talk to you soon.